So Bryson's in that group. Bogey's number one, makes the turn in 2 over, does get on a hot stretch between 12, 13, and 14 birdies, all 3 of those, but he finishes within 1 over 71, and boy, was he all over the yard, and they weren't small misses, and you alluded to this earlier. They're big misses, and when you have big misses, there are literally situations the on-course announcer is like, yeah, when he's standing over it, he can't see his ball, which is a little alarming. I'm like, you think it's a little alarming? Yeah, that would be very troublesome.
Yes, it is. So I've got a lot of different. We'll start here. Andy Johnson wrote a really good piece. People should go check it out on the Fried Egg, talking about how the way to combat what Bryson does is not by basically doing what the USGA does at US Opens, and that's growing thick rough. That actually benefits him, because when there's thick rough and he's as long as he is and he can find it, he's able to get, and we've talked about this, he's able to get the 54 degree through there. And it provides some like he knows how that's going to play. Mm-hmm. Now, when you get at Royal St. George's and it's wispy and it's all over the place and you're getting weird lies and the ball's coming out bizarre, like that's where it's very probable. And we saw it. I mean, he was, not only were his drives offline, but his approach shots from places that you're like, oh, he can probably like advance it up there. They were all over the place. And that's what leads to bogeys. We saw him drive it wild a little bit at Wingfoot, but it didn't lead to bogeys because he knew how the ball was going to come out of there.
It's very unpredictable. Yes.
And that's part of the allure, I think, of an Open Championship. And I think that's what, I mean, it's such a problem for him, because he can't, he loses his advantage. You know, he loses his competitive advantage in situations like that.
I know this is not a great stat, but he hit 28% of fairways on Thursday. Only 2 guys in the field hit less. One is Ryan Fox, and the other, the best name in the entire Open. No, believe it or not, Nicholas Pompleton.
Oh yeah,
Nicholas.
Yeah,
that's
good
a
old
great
Nick.
Open name.
Nicky Pops. Can we talk about the Cobra thing?
So here we go. So in his post-round interview, and I believe producer Jacob actually has the audio here. So he's getting asked about, I don't know what he's getting asked about, but he's talking about his driver. And Jacob, if you got it, run it.
Hit it down the middle of the fairway, that's great. But again, with the driver right now, the driver sucks. It's not a good face for me, and we're still trying to figure out how to make it good on the miss hits. And, I'm living on the razor's edge like I've told people for a long time. And when I did get it outside of the fairway, like in the first cut and whatnot, I catch jumpers out of there, and I couldn't control my wedges. So it's quite finicky for me, because it's a golf course that's pretty short. And so when I hit driver up there and it doesn't necessarily go in the fairway, it's right in the first cut or whatever, or it's in the hay, it's tough for me to get it out onto the green and control that. But when it's in the middle of the fairway, like I had it on 18, I was able to hit a nice shot in there to 11 feet and almost made birdie.
All right, that's courtesy of the Open on Twitter. Let's start there. Okay, just his reaction to the driver and the driver face. He is clearly not happy. I'm not sure I've heard many professional golfers say their equipment sucks, but here we are.
Yeah, it's just so weak. Like, it's so weak. Like, so 2 things. Well, I'll start with this. 1, we're trying to make the miss hits good. Like, don't miss hit it. Right? Like, what does that even mean? I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's just such a transfer of blame. It's nonsense, And then I just the second thing about what was I going to say about it?
Well, while you think about that, the transfer of blame is his calling card. He does it all the time. Now, I will, in his defense, this is not that uncommon amongst elite athletes, where they're trying to convince themselves that everything that they do is perfect, and that they have this super high confidence, and it's all these external factors that they can't control that are causing them issues. So I get that, but it's almost exhausting at this point. It's always everybody else's fault. And I think it might have worn down the Cobra guys too.
And we'll get to that. But my second point was, the very last thing he said in his Tuesday press conference, Rick, was, I think I'm a great guy, and I think I'm pretty humble as well. which is
that's what humble guys say.
That's always a tell, right? But the very next time we talk to you is essentially you saying, hey, I'm not going to take the blame for this. It wasn't on me. It's on the dudes that make my driver. It's on the people that have been just grinding their asses off trying to figure out how to make me 0.03% better. And I'm gonna throw them under the bus. Like, what? That's like the epitome of being the opposite of humble. That is just such a, I don't know, man. It just comes off terribly. Like, it's such a self-righteousness and self-centeredness, and it's just a bad look. Like, even if it is their fault, which I don't think anybody would say it is. Like, don't do that. Like, especially when you just got done telling me how humble you are. Like, this is your opportunity to go out there and prove it, right? And look, like, I've said really stupid stuff, and I didn't have to live in the public spotlight when I was whatever he is, 27 years old, 26 years old. So all that with a grain of salt, but don't tell me how humble you are and then come out very first thing and be like, oh, well, I know I played terribly, but it's not really my fault at all.
It's a really bad look. So it doesn't end here, because Golf Week got a quote from a Cobra rep. Now let me read this. Do we have it here? Okay, so in part, everybody is bending over backwards. We've got multiple guys in R&D who are CADing, which means they're just coming up with new designs, trying to improve this as fast as possible and trying to get that into the pipeline faster. He knows it. Speaking about Bryson, it's just really, really painful when he says something that stupid. This rep, which I'll name in a second, goes on to say he has never really been happy ever. Like, it's very rare when he's happy. Now he's in a place where he's swinging a 5-degree driver with 200 RPM of ball speed. Everybody's looking for the magic bullet. Well, the magic bullet becomes harder and harder to find the faster you swing and the lower your loft gets. Then he caps it, last thing, by saying, quote, it's like an 8-year-old that gets mad at you. They might fly off the handle and say, I hate you. But then you go, whoa, no, you don't. Okay. First of all, I read that, Kyle, and I said, wow, this is a crazy anonymous quote that they got from some Cobra rep who is not willing to put their name on this. Nope. Ben Showman, who filled in for Bryson as his caddy at Rocket Mortgage, that's who said it and put his name on it.
Well, and that's what I was texting with some guys, and one of them was like, how bad does it have to be, like, in actuality, behind the scenes, for you to make this? Because you've kind of, like, I mean, the line in the sand is drawn, right? Like, it's just,
the cards are face up now.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, like, crazy. Like, I'm with you. Whenever I forgot who, I think No I Know Up retweeted it, and I kind of dove into the Golf Week deal, which great job by them for getting that. And you're like, oh, this is wow. You don't see anonymous. You don't see really anybody give a quote like this. And then the guy threw his name on it. You're like, oh my gosh, like, this is way worse than it's just. I think you combine that with some of the Tim Tucker stuff of him quitting or leaving Bryson and going and doing his own thing. And it's not been a great couple of weeks for Bryson. And, I think that there's obviously grace to be had for anybody, but you gotta kind of own some stuff, right? Like, you gotta say, hey, oh, that was my bad. And you just don't ever hear him say that. So it'd be cool if he did. It'd probably make some people around him feel better and feel at least like he cares. But I don't know that we're going to get that.
I imagine that is not over.